Hello everyone! Greetings from Kharkov, Ukraine. My name is Svetlana Mucha and I'm the leading matchmaker and dating coach at Diolli.com. Today we wanted to film this video outdoors, and Sasha and myself, we have met at our favorite spot, but it was so windy, and even though we have a special mic that has special magic in it that has to help against a really strong wind, we have decided not to take a chance and not to risk to mess up the sound, and we have returned back to the office. Thanks God we are located in the city center, in the downtown, so it was not a long ride, but I really hope that we will manage to show you more of Kharkov in our new videos, and not to be indoors when the weather is so fantastic in summer in Kharkov, Ukraine. Anyway, today I wanted to talk to you about a very important and a very up-to-date topic. I wanted to talk about modern dating and the biggest issues with modern dating. I want to discuss the biggest obstacles that prevent so many singles from finding the right partner, starting a relationship. And I can tell you that one of the biggest problems that I see that prevents so many men and women from finding the one is lack of communication. You can tell me right now that online dating has to help you meet people. Nowadays you don't have to go out to meet someone, you don't have to spend your evenings in the bar, you don't have to approach women in the streets, you can just download Tinder or whatever, and you can meet so many people there, even people from different countries who represent different cultures. But in reality, people who are stuck with online dating, they lose their communicative skills, they lose their ability to flirt properly, and when gentlemen reach out to us, I can tell after speaking to such a gentleman for 10 or 15 minutes that he wasn't dating offline for a while. And usually when I ask a gentleman, when was the last time you have been on the real offline date? Many tell me that, oh, I do online dating and I have been dating this lady for like several weeks or for a year, but we have never met in person, so I have been dating her online. No, you haven't been dating her online. You try to trick yourself into thinking that you have a social life and a relationship. Well, you don't. Online dating is tricky. On the one hand, it's 2021 and well, you just have to be a good texter, because regardless if you date locally or internationally, texting is important. You can't just call and leave a voice message and ask you out by that voice message. You have to text. You have to text after the date, you have to text before the date to get the date, and you have to text in between because life is hectic, it is busy, and half of our lives are actually located in this small gadget. But anyway, what happens with online dating, and especially when people are thinking about international dating? Some men unfortunately choose international dating for all the wrong reasons. They think that, okay, I was not lucky to meet the right person in my country, so let's blame it all on the country, on local women, and I will just switch the country and there I will do so much better. Yes, Ukraine is quite famous with the amount of beautiful ladies that we have here. And truly, in our culture, people pay lots of attention to the way they dress, to the way they look. One can tell that, oh, women have to compete to win attention of males. I think it is just partly tiny part of the reason why women love to dress up in Ukraine. I think it's a cultural scene to be really proud of the way you look, to look truly feminine, and to actually care how you look, and to actually put lots of effort into it. In Ukraine, you can hardly meet a lady who is walking her dog out at 7 a.m. and she wears no makeup and she hasn't brushed her teeth. it doesn't happen in our country. So anyway, some gentlemen think that, okay, I was not lucky with online or offline dating, let's say in the US or in UK, so I will just travel to Ukraine and here I will be super popular. If you haven't been dating back home and you haven't been on a real date for a few months or even years, and it is getting even more common when people haven't been dating for years, when you ask a gentleman, when was the last time you have been on more than 3 dates with one woman? And he's telling you like 10 years ago, like 15 years ago, and it's getting more and more common. So if such a gentleman actually travels to Ukraine to meet Ukrainian ladies, he will bring his lack of experience with him. It's not like a magical air in Ukraine will improve his courtship, his flirting skills, and will make him a real macho, and women will find him more attractive. No, if his attempts to flirt with women are clumsy back home because he didn't practice at all, then he will face quite similar results in Ukraine. Of course, I can understand it when a gentleman has been busy getting his education, building a career, and dating hasn't been a priority for him. It was not even on the picture, and suddenly when he's in his late 20s, 30s, 40s, and sometimes even 50s, he realizes that this part of his life is missing and he hasn't been in a real relationship like never. Then, of course, such people, they want to have this romantic adventure, and what can be more romantic than the whole idea that you will cross the ocean or cross half the globe to meet a special lady who is not only beautiful but also exotic, has an exotic accent, and represents another culture. Of course, such a meeting is more romantic, and you can build this extra romantic tension, anticipation. You are really looking forward to it, because if the circumstances are very unusual on how you meet your partner, then you will remember this meeting, you will cherish this meeting more, and this experience will be different and more special for you. But let's return to online dating. What I find really dangerous for men and women in online dating, and right now we are not talking about romance scam, we are talking about the fact that people lose this ability to actually communicate and to flirt offline. In Ukraine, in 90s of the last century, internet was not that spread yet, so myself as the representative of that generation, as kids, we were still playing outdoors, and we still went to see each other offline, and even in big cities, it was quite common that people did not have phones in their apartment. So if, for example, in 1995 you wanted to meet a friend, you had to actually go and knock the door and talk to the parents of the friend, to a friend. Well, in the States and in Europe, people had internet, and it was getting more and more common that, for example, if you have missed a day at school, you could just send an email to ask what do you have to do for the class tomorrow? Like in Ukraine, you had to actually walk to your classmate, and you had to make that friend at school to be able to ask someone. Of course, in 2000s, we have internet, and nowadays when women tell you on those people at the dating sites that, oh, I don't have internet, or it is so expensive, that's not so. Even in tiny villages, they do have like internet right in your mobile phone. Of course, there can be a location where you don't have a strong connection. It happens like worldwide, but nowadays, like everyone has internet. My mother-in-law, who is 72 years old, she has internet in her smartphone. I hope I haven't bored you to death, but I really want to share my point with you. So these people who are since 90s have switched their communications online. They have forgotten how to approach ladies offline, how to talk to them, how to court them, how to flirt. So often when I set my clients on dates, and they can be very successful in their professional life, but once they are in the restaurant with a very attractive lady, like it's like you push that mute button. He's just sitting there and staring at her. And guys, this is not sexy, this is not attractive. And of course, if the guy is lucky and the lady is just easygoing, and that's her personality, and she's just polite and she doesn't want to sit awkwardly in silence, she will do all the talking. And sometimes gentlemen confuse it that, okay, oh, she was so interested in me because she was asking questions, she was talking, she made jokes, and she laughed on her own jokes, and she definitely wants to see me again. They mix it with attraction. And then the lady gives the feedback that, oh, he was like literally mute the whole date, and I had to ask all the questions, do all the talking. So I'm not that interested in going out on a second date. So I see this problem that so many gentlemen, they don't know how to talk to women. Some gentlemen try to play it cool and to act like they are so confident, and they start talking during the date, like talking all the time. And guys, women can see right through your lie. They can see that it's all about your insecurity, that you're not that confident, and at that date you try to do your best to appear confident by talking all the time and by forcing yourself to be this active, easygoing person, which you are not. To feel comfortable during the dates, you have to have the practice of talking to real people, of being on real dates with real women. Because online, especially if you use paper-letter dating sites, the system there works that way that regardless of the way you look or how old you are, where you are from, you will still receive those letters. Even if you just register a really empty profile there, you will just write your name or no name, or you will use a picture of, I don't know, Will Smith, and you place him there, you will still receive letters. And it doesn't mean that those ladies have written those letters to you. The system sends standard letters, hoping that you will start corresponding with one of the ladies from whose profile you have received that standard letter. And of course, such environment and this scenario, it is not natural. It is totally unnatural. When you receive like lots of letters, lots of fake attention, and you start thinking that, okay, I have to do absolutely nothing to get that attention, to win the attention of the lady. I just have to register at a website, and if you are completely honest with yourself, to pay for each letter that you receive. In real life, to go out on a date, to get to that stage when you actually ask a lady out on a date, you have to A, approach her, B, she has to really like what she looks to agree to go out with you on a date, and C, you have to either get a yes to your question, let's go out, or you will have to face the flat no. So in real life, you actually will have to try hard to get those dates, to get attention of the lady, to actually meet with her. And during that date, you can't just sit there and be a passive listener. Even if you are an active listener, as they call right now this management books, when you look at her and you nod your head and you smile. No, you will have to actually be present. You will have to make effort to make her smile, to be an interesting person, so that she feels that, okay, I want to get to know him. So pretty often online dating, and especially paper-letter dating sites, they create this fake illusion of supply and demand, that there are so many ladies and they all want your attention, they all crave your attention, when in real life it is not so. So how to improve your communicative skills, or how to improve your flirting skills? Well, by going out, and it is important to go out with different people. Don't be lazy and just go out with women who are like easygoing, and she can truly work through that date, make this date work, just because she had this personality that she can talk for 3 hours, she can share lots of jokes, and she can do her best not to be bored and to improve your mood as well. Because chances are she's so easygoing because that's part of your nature, and it has nothing to do with your ability to make her feel comfortable or make her feel special. She will be as easygoing and as bubbly with the other guy, or with her girlfriend, or with a neighbor, or with the person she has just met on a train or in the plane. It's just in her nature. So one of the reasons why so many gentlemen do not succeed in their search for the best half when they date in Ukraine or back home, if we are talking about international dating right now, It's the fact that they don't have this high communicative skills, they are not that easygoing, they don't know how to joke, how to flirt with a woman, because trust me, it's one thing to be all bubbly and making jokes when you're around your parents or with your sister or with your buddies. It's a totally different thing when you are in front of an attractive girl who is not your co-worker or not your teacher, and you want her to actually like you. And trust me, it is important to make a lady with whom you go out on a date, to make her like you. Being male is simply not enough. The fact that you have brought her flowers, and in Ukraine it is a must, yes, it's a nice touch and you will earn extra points, but it is not enough for a second date. You have to know how to talk to her. So how to improve your skills, how to be flirty? Practice, just practice. And with Ukrainian ladies, you will find out that some of your American jokes, they simply won't work. Or some stories that you share, they can be lost in translation, or they can be perceived differently because of the difference in culture. Dating is like every other muscle. You have to train it. And you have to see what works with women, what doesn't work. And also, if you practice, you will learn what type of women find you attractive and are interested in you. Guys, if you switch your perspective and start paying attention on women that actually are looking for your type, it will be a game changer for you. Because once you're on a date with a woman who actually tries her best to make you like her, and you see that it is mutual, that she is also investing time and effort and her heart into the process, it will be so different than chasing someone who barely pays attention on you and who has agreed to go out on a date with you because there were no other better prospects. So how to be more flirty and easygoing, how to make sure that you know how to communicate with a lady, with a real woman. Do it offline. If you do it online only, well, it's like trying to learn how to drive a car on your PlayStation without actually setting a foot into a real car. Because online, even if you do it on Facebook or in a free dating site, well, you can sit back home on your cozy sofa, or even you can sit in the toilet, literally, and you can start texting, and there is this screen, and on the picture in the dating profile, it is the best version of you, so you don't feel that nervous, and you can actually take a break before you text her back. You can think of a witty reply, or you can think of an interesting story. You can even Google something to appear smarter or whatever. And when you are meeting someone offline, you can't just take your phone and start Googling something. You can't look online for a nice joke. You have to dig it from your memory, right there, because the lady in front of you is looking at you. So when gentlemen tell me that, oh, I have traveled to Ukraine and I have met 4 ladies, and with the first lady I got the second date, with the second lady I've got 3 dates, and with the lady number 3 we have been dating for a few weeks, and I think I'm a failure or I'm not successful. Ask yourself, how many people have you dated back home? If these are your first dates within the last 10 years, that's a success. Because it will take time to meet someone. It will take time to learn how to flirt, how to court a woman properly. In Ukraine, our society is still quite traditional, and it is expected that the gentleman will be the first one to text. It is expected that he will ask the lady out, and very few ladies are, I would call it, feministic enough or brave enough or Western enough to actually call a guy and ask him out. It is still not common here. Even among youth, still boys ask girls out. So if you struggle with dating back home, where you can still hope that she will be the one to ask you out, in Ukraine you will have to lead in this process. It is expected if you want to succeed. You will have to be the first one to text, you will have to show that you are more interested than she is, when in fact it can be vice versa. So you have to practice. And let's talk about the elephant in the room, about the second reason why, unfortunately, so many men and women are single, why they can't build a relationship even though they really want to build one, is the fact they have totally unrealistic expectations about relationships and about their partner. So often people are really stuck in their head and they're thinking so much about the way it should be that they can't actually enjoy the way it is. So they create this scenario that, okay, the first person I will meet will be the one, or I will meet 3 men and women and they all will like me. We all want to be liked, and of course when a lady or a man doesn't want to go out with you again for whatever reason, well, we feel it, that our ego is bruised, we feel upset, it's normal. But you have to keep in mind that you don't like everyone, like in the sense that you're open to date everyone. So it's okay that not all people will not like you back. It is okay that actually the majority of people will not be willing to date you for whatever reason, because they won't find you attractive enough, witty enough, because they are not single, because they are looking for something else, because they expect this sign in the stars, because timing is not right for whatever reason. So when we create these unrealistic expectations, what it should be like, pretty often we do it because we don't have like real experience of relationship. So often when a gentleman hasn't been dating for a while or has never been into serious relationship, like since college, for example, he creates this perfect scenario in his head, and in real life it can never happen exactly like that. It doesn't mean that people he will meet will be not attractive or they will be bad or whatever and serious. No, they will be just different. They will be human beings and not that movie or cartoon that he has created in his head. And of course, with international dating, many gentlemen know that in Ukraine you have so many women and they are very beautiful, so I have to aim for the best. I have to aim for the most attractive woman. Not so long ago I have watched a video on YouTube and it was actually about scam, and the gentleman there, he has filmed a restaurant and he was telling that, oh, that woman, she is a scammer and she is scamming an old American man, etc., etc. By no means I want to justify scammers, and especially romance scam, because in my opinion love is a truly unique and fragile thing and you shouldn't be playing with it. But still, even when you look at that couple in that restaurant, a guy who is like in his late 60s or early 70s and a girl who is in her late 20s, early 30s, like, what did he expect? Like, really? So when guys think that, okay, I'm in my 60s, but in Ukraine I will date someone who is in her 30s. Why? Just because I want to prove the world that I'm still capable of making love and I can attract a beautiful arm candy like that. Well, guys, if back home ladies in their 30s or 40s or 20s or whatever do not pay attention on you, in Ukraine it will be quite similar. Of course, in Ukraine you can attract a lady who will take a better care maybe about her looks than many ladies in the West, because it's a cultural thing, but women do have eyes here and women do have expectations what their partner will look like, how he will smell like, and what will be his age, what will be his interests, hobbies, etc. And yes, even financial situation. That is also important because, trust me, attractive women, they don't want to date guys who are broke and who don't have jobs and who are lazy. Nobody wants to date someone who stays on the sofa all day long. So when guys have these unrealistic expectations that, oh, I will travel to Ukraine and I will manage to get attention of a supermodel, well, if supermodels do not pay attention to you back home, then why do you expect a different result? So even if you are like super easygoing and you have experience of dating women your age back home and you have been in relationship back home and you believe you know how to court a lady properly, at least based on traditions in your country, well, it doesn't guarantee that in Ukraine you will manage to attract someone who is super attractive, like Hollywood attractive, or a girl with truly model features like these supermodels from 90s and 80s. So pretty much I see two biggest reasons why so many men unfortunately are single, despite the fact that they want to build a relationship, they want to build family. First of all, is the fact that they are just not capable of building a communication, and before you can change it into a romantic relationship, you have to build a communication offline. You have to catch interest of the lady. You have to get to know each other before you can push it to the next level. Some can call it a certain type of friendship. I would call it a romantic acquaintance. When you meet someone and you try to get to know each other, and usually it will take, I would tell, 7 to 10 dates to understand if you are compatible enough, if there can be more to this acquaintance than just physical attraction that you can feel on the first date. And the second reason why so many gentlemen unfortunately can't meet the right person and they're single, even though they don't want to be single, is the fact they have totally unrealistic expectations about relationship in general, about women, and about the type of women that will find them attractive. Guys, keep in mind that not everyone will be willing to date you, and it is okay. And your goal is to find people who will actually choose you and will like you for all the right reasons. I hope I haven't bored you to death, and I know that this video is getting longer than I have planned, but I really wanted to share my thoughts with you, and I hope that this video will inspire some of you to rethink their dating strategy. I want to wish you love. Svetlana Mukha from Diolli.com.